My name is Junaid Siddiqui. A goal of the series of events we are having these days is enhancing student learning. Today, we will get to know about FeedbackFruits, a platform designed to increase student engagement through interactive learning and feedback. KFUPM is testing out FeedbackFruits this academic year, and our guests, Julia Wesoka and Martin Mortier from FeedbackFruits will introduce us to explain the platform with a focus on its interactive video feature. So Julia and Martin, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Naid, and good morning, everyone. It's great to see also some people that joined our yesterday session. So I hope everybody has a coffee or a tea on their end. We'll be spending the next 55 minutes discussing FeedbackFruits, and we also have some interactive components. So yeah, really looking forward to host another session. This is our agenda of today. We would like to first give you a brief introduction to FeedbackFruits and also the challenge of a social engagement and interactive classroom, after which we'll move forward to the interactive video use cases. And we'll have a demo in Blackboard on how students can experience the tool, which is the interactive video. And afterwards, we're gonna have the interactive session. So you will have opportunity to experience this activity as a student, after which we'll move on to the setup of the activity and you can also try it out yourself. And of course, if you have any questions in the meantime, please put them in the chat. Today with me, it's also my colleague Marta who will take care of the questions. So in case there will be any comments, reflections, please put them in the chat. So to begin with, some of you already joined yesterday's session. You might already know about this, but working with a lot of the universities, we often see that the traditional teaching cannot keep pace. And what we often see is when students join course, they experience initial excitement. They might really like to engage with the material, also with the peers. But after time, because it's getting a bit busy for students, they have a lot of tasks to do. We see what we call an engagement crisis, which is leading students to an exam panic afterwards. So they need to catch up with all of the readings of the materials at the end to make sure that they pass the course. And this is a challenge that many of you and many of us are experiencing. In addition, we see the additional challenges that online students really experience less collaboration with their peers, which is a concern because we know that students work best by practicing, teaching, and collaborating with others. Next to it, the research also shows that some students have never worked with peers outside of the class. And obviously, we would like to change that and make sure that students have more opportunity to collaborate. And last but not least, we also know that yeah, some students also report having discussed assignments or grades with instructors in very limited capacity. So with all of these challenges, I really want to make sure that students have opportunities to collaborate, interact with others, and of course, discuss topics at hand. And we can do that by incorporating different pedagogies and making sure that we can make sure that the engagement crisis is sort of eliminated and that you can have those engagement pieces throughout the course, such as including more authentic activities, focusing more on the skill development of your students and engage learners throughout the course. And you can see at the top all the different tools and methods you can include. But of course, in today's session, we'll be focusing on engaging students with interactive videos. And also just to further embed this topic, as I mentioned earlier, students do learn best by practicing and teaching others. And we can also see that in the Blues taxonomy that really says a lot about activating learners and the importance of the collaboration. So what we ideally want to do is flip the classroom, making sure that the lectures are a bit more interactive and the students can also learn by doing. And that's our mission as FeedbackFruits. We are based in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. We want to make better teaching easy to organize and make these practices easy to implement in your courses. We know how busy you are. We know how many activities, courses you need to handle. So we really want to make this a streamlined process, easy one, and one that will also allow you to implement many methods in one. And we work with a lot of universities worldwide, more than 200 currently, to making those strategic objectives possible and making sure that you have all those methods available. So this is the FeedbackFruits tool suite. These are the tools available at your institution here. And we divide our tools into two baskets. One is the focusing solution on the feedback and assessment. So here, tools that are cultivating students' feedback giving skills, group work, but also cultivating reflection and self-assessment. And the second bracket on the right is focusing on this activation of students, so collaboration and engagement. And this is a set of tools that is really focusing on engaging with the material, with discussions, quizzing, and so on. And of course, today we will be diving deeper into the interactive video specifically. So we'll be looking at ways how we can engage students via video materials. And this is the tool at hand. You can see how it works in practice. The interactive video enables you to upload any type of a video material, whether this is a seminar, a lecture, a tutorial, and on top of that, add a couple of questions, discussions, prompts, so that students can really engage with this material and be an active and not a passive learner. And you can see how that looks like in the practice. Students have a discussion threads where they can engage. They can also ask questions to each other. And in this case, you can make sure that students come more prepared to class, that they are actively engaging with the given topic, and also encourage discussion, especially in the online environment, which we know that it's quite challenging. And all of that is facilitated within Blackboard. So we're not going outside of Blackboard anywhere. There's no an external platform for this. And that gives us many benefits, such as you can easily publish grades directly to Blackboard. If you choose this assignment to be a summative one, you can include grading on given modules, and that can be easily pushed back to Blackboard Gradebook. Next to that, if you have a huge class, you can also make groups so that students can only collaborate and see answers of their peers, and those groups can be synchronized with Blackboard. And lastly, you can also synchronize deadlines. So you can make sure that the assignment only appears to student up until center date, and they also have reminders for it. And I also wanted to include three use cases just to give you a better idea on how you can incorporate this tool in your class. And the first one is based on the collaboration. So we already know that this is difficult to engage students in asynchronous modality, also online. So what you can do is you can implement easy videos, easy materials, tutorials, and then embed questions on top of this. This will really help students to cultivate critical thinking and making sure that they can also share their opinions with their peers. You can include different discussion prompts and also allow students to create their own so that they can be a bit more creative and then practice by doing. And this is an example in this case of an Excel tutorial where a teacher is explaining different parts of the program, and then students can ask questions and come to class prepared. Another example is the problem solving. I know that many of you work in departments where you have a lot of technical topics, equations, that can really help students to cultivate the knowledge and almost work as a quizzing option. So that, for instance, you can include a material where a technical topic is explained, and based on the students can answer multiple choice questions. And they also will be able to insert equations if that's part of the subject, so that they will be able to check their knowledge and you also know where they are at with their progress. And you can include those activities in our course modalities, also different class sizes, even if you have a very small or very large class, and of course, different learning goals. So depending on what's your objective, you can maybe include more qualitative or quantitative type of activities. And the last example that I included out of many, trust me when I say that there's a plethora of examples that you can include with this interactive video, is the recorded lectures and seminars. We see this tool being utilized in this case very, very often, as sometimes when the lectures are recorded, students don't watch it usually. Sometimes the lectures are long and it's really hard to extract the key information. That's unfortunately the reality for many students and teachers as well. So in this case, we really suggest embedding the lectures, the recorded seminars into the tool. And based on that, you can just add key moments or key questions throughout that video so that when students watch it, they will be able to stop and really think about what they're looking at. And a really good example of this is locking a question. As you will see in the activity in just a bit, you have the ability to lock question, which does not allow students to move forward through the video unless they give it a try. So this really focuses on making sure that students understand the given topic, understand this particular part of the video, so they need to at least give a try, go back to the video, rewatch it again to provide an answer. And of course, on your end, you will have all the analytics and you know which students progressed and which students not. And additionally, this really gives you a nice human connection with the peers as well, so that they also have sort of a digital contact with you and they will be able to connect in some way, not only with the subject, but also with the instructor. Now, before moving on to the demo, I also wanted to highlight some key features that are present not only in this video tool, but also in other FeedbackFruits tools, and that's easing of copying the assignments. Again, we know you're very busy, so we want to make sure that you have available templates and that you're ready to scale your assignments. So in case you're creating one video tool, you will be always able to copy that assignment and reuse it for other purposes, so that maybe you have already quizzing at hand that you want to reuse. That's possible. Next to that, you'll be able to include configurable grading. So you can make it a summative assignment, but you can also opt out and just make it a fully formative one, so that students only need to watch the video without doing anything else. They don't need to answer anything. They don't need to get any grade. I've already mentioned that the tool is suitable for both synchronous and asynchronous modalities, so you can be very creative with how you use it. And lastly, you also have progress analytics, visualizations, so you know where students are at with their progress. Now with that, I would like to move on to the demo in Blackboard to show you how you can do it, this assignment as a student. And this will be also the same assignment that we kindly ask you to do yourself. So I'd like to spend the next few minutes walking you through this activity, after which we'll have the interactive part. So I'll stop sharing my screen to reshare it again in the demo environment. And also, in case there are any questions, please kindly put them in the chat. We'll make sure to look into them and address them once you will be having the hands-on experience. Just reshare my screen. So I am currently logged in the Blackboard environment. And this is how the student can see an activity after opening it. So you can see how FeedbackFruits is embedded in the Blackboard iframe. And what students will be able to see is first the instructions, so the topic at hand. I always recommend including at least a short explanation of what's included in this activity. In our case, we are asked to open the video and then provide 3 prompts. So this is 3 different type of prompts. That is multiple choice, open, and open discussion thread. After which, students can also optionally reflect on this activity and For some students, they prefer, they can also listen to an audio. You'll be also able to record a video if you would like to explain it and add more humane touch to this activity. And then the next part, of course, is going to the actual video and providing the answers. So I'm going to open that video and show you how it looks like in the tool. So this is an example of a TED Talk activity, TED Talk video that explains, in our case, solar panels and the problem of sustainability. So as a student, I'm going to click on this video. I will mute it for the purpose of this activity. So I'll be able to open this video and listen to it. And at some point, the video will stop and it will ask me to provide an answer to a question like this. So you can see that I don't have any other option but giving an answer. If I don't know the answer to it, I would need to go back and rewatch this video. So this is a multiple choice where I think this is the correct answer. I can also just put that I don't know the answer. In this case, I won't be given any points. And I can submit. Yes, I was correct. And I can also see the explanation. And afterwards, I will be able to move on further in the video. You can see how the timeline open, and I can move on to the next one. Again, this video should stop like this, and I need to provide my answer. And after this, I will be able to correct whether this was a correct, almost, or wrong answer, as this is an open question. So we really rely on the self-reflection of students. And after this, I will be able to move on further in the video. There's also additional discussion thread, and students can also add their own contribution by adding discussion thread in this case. So they will be able to add questions. Maybe they have some additional input that they would like to share with others, and it will be also anonymized. So you always have the option to anonymize students' names. After this, if students have finished everything, they will be able to reflect on the activity. This is an optional component, of course, but you are able to also include it. So as grading, in this case, we gave students some grades based on the compilation of the above steps, but you can also just include it as a formative assignment. In case students have any questions, we always recommend to reach out to our support chat. You can always find it in the left bottom corner. In case there are any technical questions, maybe students just need some support, I always recommend just reaching out. And this chat is also available for the instructors. So if you have any questions, any doubts, highly recommend you reaching out here. So that is all for the interactive video component. Now I would like to move on to the interactive part so that you can do the same assignment yourself in this case and experience it firsthand. So these are the instructions. I would like you to go into this assignment that I will share the link in just a second. I see that some of you already went to this activity, so I'm really glad to see this proactiveness. This is the link to the activity. So please go to that link, log in with your credentials, after which you need to start the activity and follow exactly the same steps that I just did in the assignment. And after roughly 10 minutes, we'll reconnect and see your progress. If you have any questions, if anything is not clear, please do let us know in the chat. And also please let me know if the link is working or if you would like me to reshare the link again in the chat.
Yes, it's working. At least it's working for me.
Great.
Sorry, it says to me access denied.
Was it access denied to the course itself? Perhaps maybe if you can log in again to your account. I'm seeing that other people managed to log in, so maybe refreshing page and logging again will work. Could you
Okay.
please try it? Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's working now. Yeah.
I'm glad to hear. So it's the classical log
Yeah.
in and out. Yeah, of
Thank you.
course. And in the meantime, as you're going the activity, I am also seeing on the instructor end how many of you already entered this activity. So after around 6 minutes, we'll reconnect. I'm going to share my screen and walk you through the teacher perspective. For those that already joined the training yesterday, you already know the drill. We're gonna do it again. So feel free to take your time to go through the steps and ask any questions if you have. I see that currently more than 60% of you at least view the activity. So we're going to wait to reach 70, after which I'll share my screen and walk you through this activity. So let's get 2 more minutes, 3 more minutes to finalize it and we'll reconnect. Also, feel free to write your reflection once you finish all the 3 components. So the questions and discussion thread, you'll be able to reflect on the activity. So feel free to do so. All right, we will have a final minute finalize. So for those who still didn't go to this activity, please go ahead and access the link in the chat. You'll still have an opportunity to at least view the assignment and see how that's going to look like from the student perspective. And for those who have already finished, I'm going to share my screen and walk you through the live activity and how it's looking on the teacher side. So this is our assignment that we are previewing as an instructor. So what you'll be able to see is that the modules of the activity look very similar to the student one. We first have the overall student progress, instructions, the video itself, reflections, and the last part of grading. What I would like to do is to open the dashboard with the progress. And by going to the full screen mode, you'll be able to see and preview all the students, in this case, all of you, that have completed the steps. And we can also see compilation and the success rate with answering the questions. So this will be your central place to have a look at students' progress when you're launching this assignment. So I can see that we have one person writing a reflection. Congrats to you, Mohammed. As for others, I can see that successfully around 70% of the participants have at least finished the questions. So that's really good to see. What I will be also able to do is also filter on the questions. So I can see that for our first one, the answering score was more than 70%. The second one was a bit more difficult. It was an open question, so I can imagine why this is a bit lower. And I can also see the skip rate, that some of you have skipped that question. If you would like to go a bit deeper into the analytics, you can always download the Excel spreadsheet with all of this information combined in one file. Of course, as our group here is very large, you might also want to just find students by their name. In this case, you can just use this toggle here. So that's all possible. Now, moving on to the actual video, you'll be able to see how students have responded and their engagement throughout this module. So I'm going to open the video and let's have a look at your progress. This is the start of the video. We can see that some of you have already made some annotations. So with this little dots, you'll be able to see what we call the discussion threads. So these are open questions that both you and the students can incorporate. And I see that some of you really went deep into this topic, which I'm really glad to see, and seeing some content related questions and answers. That's great. And I can also go to my questions and then see how the class is answered. So great to see that most of you answered correctly. And we also had some skip rates, etc. So this is how you're able to preview. This is our second question, open one. So as an instructor, I can always see if students answered or self-answered correctly, incorrectly, or in the middle. And what I will be able to do is I can also upvote. So maybe I really like some answers. So I will be able to always upvote it. And on top of that, as an instructor, you always have the possibility to reply. So I can say, because what studies show and also what we are experiencing working with instructors is that the additional value of engaging with students is really big. So then students really feel that, oh, that my instructor has replied to me my answer was valuable. So I really encourage you to, whenever you can, go into those discussion threads and provide some additional responses to students, and we'll really incentivize them. And on top of the textual responses, you will be also able to add engaging items. This is also something that you can do on your end as a student. If you haven't tried that, I suggest going back to the activity and trying it out, as you will be able to respond with an audio recording. You can also record a video, record your screen, or attach the file. It might be a good idea to attach maybe an article or additional supplementary material in case you want to add it. This is what we've done in this case when putting a question. As you can see, maybe you already saw on your end, I included additional article to help students answer this question. And then there was also one additional open question when I just ask your thoughts about this activity. So it's really great to see that most of them are positive and very interesting, insightful answers as well. And of course, you can also see that all the names are anonymized so that students cannot see the names, but as an instructor, I always have the visibility into who responded. And I can also see the reflections in case I have a lot of them. I can also scroll and read and learn something. And the last part is the module of the grading. So if I go to the full screen mode, I can see all the parts the students have completed and also the grades. So what you will be able to do is to immediately publish it to Blackboard Gradebook, or you can also optionally adjust it. So maybe I feel that, this instructor deserves a full mark. You'll be always able to adjust it. And after this, you can always schedule a publishing grade or immediately publish the grades to Gradebook. If you have any questions on this assignment, please let us know in the chat. I would like to now move on to a more technical part of this training, which is setting up the assignment. In case you already have a running activity like this, you'll be able to move on to the edit mode and add questions, add any components and features. You can obviously also do it from scratch. So as we already have some questions set up, I'm going to move on to the edit mode and walk you through in the next few minutes on how to set up this assignment. So as you can see at the very top, we have the title, and the first part are the instructions. As I mentioned, it's always good to incentivize students and let them know what this activity is about, and you'll be able to include additional engaging items to explain it. Below this, you have the option to adjust whether this is an individual or a group assignment. The difference is that if you made it a group assignment, then it will mean that students only within a given group will see contributions of others. In our case, as we have more than 100 students, I would normally group you because then unless everybody gives questions and discussions, the video might be a bit overpopulated. So that's an option that you can choose from. And it's important to know that you always set up the groups in Blackboard. Now, when it comes to the video itself, you can add the questions by going to open video. In our case, of course, this is a running assignment, so we can already see some questions that have been made, but we can also create a fresh question by adding the contribution. And you have two options here. It's either to include a question or an open discussion thread. If we go to the question card, two options here. You tested both. First is the multiple choice question. It works like a normal quiz. We need to enter the question. And then we need to provide the answers. I'm going to do it rather quickly. I hope that you already get the idea of it. And once we know which answer is correct, we just need to tick it. We can also add additional explanation as we had in the activity, so that it really tells students why their answer was wrong or correct. And to each of these, you can add those additional items. Once again, you will be able to add, for example, an article, maybe a video, a picture. And below you'll find settings, such as permitting students to move forward with the video before answering, but also allowing multiple choice answers in scratch-off mode so that students will get less and less points with every wrong answer. And of course, it's also important to mention that the questions you're creating, they are attached to a specific part of the video. So in this case, this is referring to this very point of the material. The second type of question is the open one. Here in this case, we're asking students open question again. And then providing optional correct answer. What I would like you to use and test later on in your activities is the suggest button here. This is our newest AI coach that can help you crafting the content for your videos. We know that it's quite time consuming to create good quality questions and discussions. So we really recommend you to try this feature out, as what it does is that it suggests question reflection based on a specific part of the video. After a few seconds, this will load and will provide you with an extensive reflection and also correct answer. On my end, this is quite a long video, and also my internet at the office isn't so good. So I'll ask you for some patience and also testing it afterwards, as this might be a very powerful feature for your class. And of course, we also have additional settings to set this up. And the last part of the engagement is, in our case, the discussion thread. So again, if I click on here, you will be able to just ask a question, something general, with additional settings. Now, if we go back, you'll also have additional settings such as scheduling deadlines, making sure that students can write discussion threads, also including anonymity feature in our case, but also maybe including subtitles. Maybe some students require or would like to have extra subtitles in their videos. You'll be also able to either upload yourself or generate it with our system. The next part is the reflections. You'll be able to ask students what they need to reflect on. And we additionally have this AI coach that helps students write in good quality. You will also be able to remove this part altogether. Now, the last part is the grading. By clicking the configure, you'll be able to adjust which modules you would like students to be graded on. In our case, we just graded you on the different components included, but you can also add more of them. What's important is that the final mark will be set to 100%. So in this case, we need to adjust it accordingly. At the very bottom, you will also find a plus button that will allow you to add different modules. So you can play with it and make it very extensive assignment or a very short one with just one video. Now, I'm not going to save these changes, otherwise you will need to go to click save. Now, I would like to move on to how to find FeedbackFruits in Blackboard so that you'll be able to create this assignment from scratch with me. I also see some questions. I will make sure to address them at the end of the session. Thank you so much for asking, and please keep asking. All right, so in this case, I would like to move on to the creation of this assignment. If you do have Sandbox course on your end, please log in as an instructor and follow the steps that you will see on the screen. In this case, we are creating an interactive video from scratch. So I'm going to first navigate to the assignment sections in Blackboard, after which I'll move on to the build content. And there in the list of LTI tools, you'll find FeedbackFruits. I'm going to click on this. And after a few seconds, this will open a tool picker, as we call it. It essentially means different categories and options to choose from when you're getting started with the creation of the assignment. Now, If this is your very first time accessing FeedbackFruits, you might see different options on your end, such as you might not see My Library or maybe past activities, but that's completely okay. Once you start creating the activities, you'll also see those. I will briefly, yes?
Yeah, I was just wondering if people know that they can, they also have a sandbox. It should be available to them. So I just want to make sure other people can also try this out.
Mm-hmm.
So can someone in the chat confirm that you are able to see sandbox scores in Blackboard created for you, so you can try this out? Okay, nothing in the chat. Okay, there are a couple of messages. Okay, yes, so there are a couple of yes. Okay, yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for confirming. And it's correct that the sandbox is empty. If you created this assignment, yeah, you will be able to create this activity, but by default, the sandbox is indeed empty if you haven't created anything. So by going to the Blackboard course, then navigate it to build content, you will find FeedbackFruits, after which you'll see this screen. And there are a couple of options to choose from. The My Library, this will store the templates that you will be saving. I will make sure to also show you how to create a template from an assignment. The past activities, here you will find all of the activities you previously created. Start from scratch. Here you will find all of the 15 tools that we introduced you to at the beginning of the session, and you can just start with the creation of activity from zero. Learning Design Community, on the other hand, is a list of templates, recommendations, and inspirations that you can choose from. I suggest going to the Start from Scratch for all of you, because this will give you the experience using the tool from zero. When you're there, please navigate to the interactive video in this case, and we would need to follow the steps that I showed you earlier. So first, we will need to give it a title. And then what's important is that you need to have a file to include in your video. Otherwise, the assignment won't be saved. So for the purpose of this training, I've already downloaded a video, which I will also share with you in the chat so that you will be able to also test it. But of course, in case you have your video of choice, feel free to use it as well. The video should load in a few seconds. I just will include the video in the chat. Yeah, feel free to download it. This is a very short 2 minutes video that you will be able to test on your end in your sandbox. Feel free to use it. Now, after several seconds, we can see the video almost loaded. So what we will be able to do is open that video and start with our interactive questions. As you can see the same timeline as before. We can add on the contributions like this. And of course, by clicking the suggest button, we can auto-generate the content creation on our end. Now for the timing, I won't do it, but you will be also able to set up additional steps. And once you're ready, once you created a question or two, you can click on the save and the activity will be saved in your Blackboard course at the very bottom here. I will stop sharing my screen and reshare once again the tasks and how you can create this activity. Now, please, if you're able, log into your sandbox, navigate to build content, find FeedbackFruits, and follow the steps that we just done. And we will reconnect in around 6 minutes or so to check for any questions and any other comments or reflections that you have. And if somebody has any troubles accessing the sandbox, please let us know. Once again, for those who are still logging into their sandboxes, it's important that you log into your own sandbox and not to the course that I just shared the link previously with you. There you will be able to access it as an instructor, and please cover all the points that are visible on this slide. If you have any questions, concerns you cannot access, please let us know. I'm catching up on the chat now. Thank you. And once again, as I'm seeing some questions, some of you cannot log into to the sandboxes. You need to log out from the previous course, from the previous assignment, and then log in with your instructor credentials to your own personal sandbox. And we will reconnect in a minute. All right, I will go through this process once again for those that just access their sandbox so that everybody has a chance to create their assignment. So I'm going to reshare my screen. Now you should be in your personal sandbox, after which you can go to the assignment section and you will see a blank folder. So there is going to be nothing on your end. Then you should navigate to the build content section in Blackboard. And then you will find FeedbackFruits on the list. Once we click on this, we'll see the tool picker like this. You should navigate to start from scratch, when you will be able to choose interactive video from the list. Feel free to also choose other tools. You can also have a look at other tools in the basket. Once we click on this, we need to give this activity title and submit a video. I shared a video, an example video with you in the chat, so feel free to just drag it and use it. You can do that by clicking selecting video. This will open your app from your device. What you can also do is you can paste the link. We support many types of files. So if this is an open source, open link, you can just paste it. Maybe you're using YouTube video, maybe your lecture is uploaded on an open platform somewhere. Feel free to submit it. What's important is that there is no login page, because this will make this video unuploadable in this case, because you will need to log in. So if this is a library video, it needs to have an open access. You can also record yourself as well. So this is a really seminar-like video in this case, so feel free to try it out. So once you have this video at hand, you'll be able to save this activity. For those that already created some activity, maybe joined the training yesterday on the interactive document, what you can also do is go to copy from existing. And this will enable you reusing previously created activity. In our case, you can see I tested quite a lot before our training today. So I'll be able to simply click on an activity and reuse it like this. In this case, I don't have to worry about creating the questions and assignment from scratch. But again, this is only for those that already created the test before. You might also not see it on your end, and that's perfectly fine if this is your first time using this assignment. And we also have a question if we can edit old assignment. Absolutely. I'm going to move to our activity that you experience as a student. And in this case, we can see that there's an edit button in the activity. So if we click on this, even though this activity is already available and there's a student progress in it, you can still make some adjustments. So instructions, you'll be able to add additional questions. And of course, if this is the first time using the tool, you have no students engagement, you can obviously keep crafting it, adding certain parts and keep editing it. So you can always go back to this edit mode in this case and do it. I hope this answered your question. Thank you so much. And additionally, as I previously mentioned, that there is a library where you can find your previously created templates. I also want to show you how you can create that template because it will also be important for those of you that will be reusing an assignment. Imagine a situation where you're working on an activity and you would like to reuse it in maybe weekly seminars, or there's a set of questions that you just want to simply reuse. For the purpose of finding it in a easiest way, I always recommend to saving it as a template. And you can do that by going to next to the edit mode, we have more options, and then we can create a template. So we can simply give it a title and then save it. And as we are saving this template, it will appear in our tool picker at the beginning in my library. So I can save it as a template like this. You can also share a copy with somebody. Maybe you are working on an activity with your colleague. Maybe you're creating this activity for someone. You'll be able to always share that with them by adding their email address and also maybe additional message. Like this. It will land in their email inbox and they will be able to open it. Now, feel free to further explore the platform. I also want to answer some of the frequent questions that I saw in the chat. There were some questions whether there is a size limit for the videos, and the rule of the thumb is no, but we always suggest incorporating videos that are no heavier than 2 gigabytes. This will ensure that the video is running smoothly and that it's loading quickly on student end. We also support different type of files, different type of videos, but it's important that you don't have the login page. It needs to be an open source. In case you have a presentation that you want to include, maybe a document, you would need to use the interactive document tool instead. The video is only for video materials. Stop sharing my screen. There is also a question if an instructor can preview an assignment as a student. Great question. Yes. You can always have access the activity from a student perspective by navigating to the student preview option in Blackboard. As you can see, this is one of the test assignments. And there's a very teeny tiny button in the top right corner. I hope you can see it. That says Enter Student Preview. So if I click on that, I will be directed to the folder of Blackboard and I can navigate to the activity. And this will give me the chance to preview it exactly as a student. You can see we are entering the preview as a student. I can open the video. And my apologies. I hope it didn't create a heart attack to anyone. I hope it wasn't too loud. And will be able to preview as a student exactly, also provide any questions, answers like this, as you can see. So feel free to use it. Again, it's a little bit hidden in the top right corner. I hope it answered your question. Very good one. Now I see we have 2 minutes left, so I would like to wrap up this session. We will share resources that includes the presentation slides, that will include videos both for you, how to set it up. Again, if some of you didn't have opportunity to do it, we will share it. Also videos for students. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to our support chat directly available within the tools. You can also reach out to Martin and myself for any use case questions if you would like to discuss how we can incorporate these tools, both the interactive video and document in your courses. And of course, we'll also share some inspirations, use cases so that you can think which examples match to your courses best.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope it was a fruitful event for everyone, and you will be using FeedbackFruits in your courses as the new semester starts. So it's available in Blackboard. In every Blackboard, you can easily access it and add it. So we look forward for your experimentation with the tool and see how well you are able to use it. So thank you all. And thank you, Julia, for running this, and Martin.
Thank you very much. And thank you also for your active participation. It's been a pleasure to host these 2 workshops. So I wish you best of luck with starting of the semester and using the tools. Thank you.
Thank you.